Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to The Wednesday Week, the podcast all about Sheffield Wednesday. We are very, very glad that people enjoyed the pilot episode. We are having one or two troubles getting things up on iTunes and things like that, but rest assured we are working on it. We have now got a Facebook page up and running, so if you'd like to search for us on Facebook, we're on there, and we shall also be posting the shows on there as well. Anywho, on with today's show, and on the line with me today is Steve Beastie from the Owls Alive website. Hello there, Beastie!
Hello, your lordship. How's things?
Oh, jolly, jolly good, thank you very much, sir. Well, as good as things can be, because unfortunately, old boy, it's just me and you for the moment. Yes, although this is the first official show of the Wednesday week, we seem to be two Wednesday week chums down. We do know that Eddie from Wednesday Night is stuck at work. I mean, Lord only knows what work is, but he's stuck there anyway. And we don't seem to like to go to Fudge. We know that he was at work as well, but rest assured, gents, we are trying to get hold of them as the show goes on. But there has been rather a demand for us, I must say. I'm very, very surprised at how people took to the pilot edition. So me and Beastie are going to do a bit of Owls chat on our own and see how we get on. So then, Beastie, let's have it. It was a rather interesting Saturday for the Owls this week as we rolled out 2-1 winners in a very interesting game. I believe you was at the match.
I was there. I can't say that I noticed anything particularly interesting happening.
Rather uneventful game, was it?
Yeah, it was a bit dull. Well, I've got to say in all seriousness that is one of the best games at Hillsborough that I can remember in my lifetime. Fair enough, my memory only goes back 20 minutes, but that ending was, if you weren't there, then you missed a fantastic moment in the history of Sheffield Wednesday Football Club, because it doesn't get any more exciting than that last few minutes.
That's what football was made for, old boy. What football was made for.
It really is. It really is.
It's unfortunate. I do have a slight confession to make. Rather embarrassing. I was out lording on the early hours of the early hours of Saturday morning, and didn't return home while 8 o'clock in the morning, and managed to last around about an hour before the match, and fell asleep. So I managed to miss the entire radio commentary of the match, and didn't wake up till 5:30.
Well, that's understandable. Lording doesn't do itself. Somebody's got to be out there doing the lording.
Certainly does not, old boy. However, people have noticed that every now and again I do disappear from Twitter on a match day, and it's generally because there's little Z's coming out of my nose. So if you don't mind, Beastie, I'll ask you a few questions, and you can educate the uneducatable on the match.
Go on then, fire away.
So I did see, obviously, the first goal, the Chris Lyons goal. It wasn't what you call a spectacular goal, but they all count. How did Mr. Lyons play this week?
Well, for me, Chris Lyons was man of the match. And once he scored that goal, it might only have been a tap-in, but once he scored that goal, his confidence was sky-high. And he wanted to be involved in absolutely everything. And I don't know if you've seen the highlights, but anybody that has seen the highlights will have noticed that every time we got a crossing in the second half, it usually came from him. And he was just full of running. In that second half, he did one of the runs where he went from our half, danced in and out of all their players, got right to the byline and put a ball in. Fantastic play.
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. It does seem to back up the theory that you came up with last week, that you and Eddie came up with last week, that Dave Jones' style of football does rather suit Mr. Lyons there in the middle.
It must be doing, because his game, don't get me wrong, I have no qualms with Gary Megson. To me, what Gary Megson brought to this club, every Wednesday fan should be thankful for.
Oh, of course.
But Chris Lyons has improved no end since Dave Jones came in.
Oh, no, it's absolutely understandable. I mean, from reading the match reports, which I've read many, and also reading the tweets and whatnot from the Owls on Twitter, it seems like we should have been at least 5 or 6-0 up before half-time. It looks like the Carlisle keeper had an absolutely stonking game.
Oh, he did. One of the saves that he pulled off, Antonio took a throw in from the north stand side. Danny Batt made it with a fantastic header, and he went full stretch right across his goal and fingertipped it over. It was a fantastic move by us that deserved a goal, and it needed a fantastic save, and it got one.
Now, one of my little bugbears about football in general is that keepers don't often get the credit they deserve. So fair play to the fellow who's had a good game and kept him in it. We can't really argue with that. Now, of course, the next goal was from Carlisle. Did they have many chances in the game, Beastie?
They didn't really. Bywater were more of a bystander than keeper. And that was a really poor goal. It shouldn't have been a free kick to start with. The ball it was leathered, and it laid her on the shoulder. He even pointed out to the referee after he'd given a free kick where it had hit him, but the referee would have none of it.
A referee's decision going against the Owls?
Yes, it's hard to believe this season.
Don't believe it.
Yeah, well, they got the free kick. They wellied it against the wall. It bounced out to Bennett. We're just on the edge of the box, and he rifled it home. It's strange, really, because me and the young'un have been giving Bennett a little bit of abuse when he were taking their corners. And he came back to bite us, as they usually do.
If all fair play to the fellow, I mean, from what I saw on the highlights on the television, decent enough positioning. Do you think we're at fault for not closing him down, or was he just in the right place at the right time?
No, it was just a well taken goal, really. I don't think Bywater will have seen a lot of it. Fair play to him.
No, and then of course the match carried on. There wasn't, what was he? Something along the lines of 10 minutes left when they scored.
Well, I've got to tell you, most people that know me know how much of a girly I am when things get tense at the footy. And for the last half an hour, I couldn't watch. So for the last 10 minutes, it was unbearable for me. I was staring down at the ground, I was looking behind me, I was looking through my fingers. But when we got that ball forward, when Semedo slid it sideways for Antonio, and he opened his body up, and he took the shot, where we sit on the cop, we're staring straight down that shot. We're on the front row and looking right down the barrel. And to me, that ball was going wide. And I was on my feet, and I was ready to put my head in my hands, and it curled at the end.
Sorry, go on, Beastie.
Well, even now, my heart's pounding like mad just thinking about it, because as soon as that hit the back of the net, the entire three sides of Hillsborough erupted, and the noise was just, I can't describe it, it was just fantastic. It was just breathtaking.
Well, old Lord H went to the game. My lovely father, he was at the game, and informed me the floodlights were bouncing along with the cop.
Well, I can well believe that, because once, you know what it's like once the Wednesday fans start singing the bouncing song, and all three sides, that's pretty much the best part of 20,000 Wednesday fans, were all bouncing and all singing. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if all the concrete were bouncing.
And we've had a tweet on Twitter to the Wednesday week, and if you'd like to contact us, it's at TWWcast on Twitter, from Lee Brown on Twitter, saying that he loved seeing the Prawn Sandwich Brigade in the South Stand bouncing on Saturday. So everybody was up.
Yeah, once the South Stand's up bouncing, you know that's a good atmosphere. It takes a lot to get them up out of the seats.
But to be fair, we have also had a tweet in from Kaz Wainwright on Twitter also, saying that she's been in the South Stand for 25 years, and she can honestly say that she's never eaten a prawn sandwich.
Well, you know what Kaz is like.
I shall take your word for it.
I'm sure I've seen her eating a prawn sandwich.
So, of course, absolutely wonderful game. It does need to be said that Antonio was, of course, suffering from a shoulder injury throughout the game. The lad carried on. Absolutely stunning. You don't see that many times these days. These pappy footballers seem to get a bit of a knocking off the go, but it seems to me that wild horses couldn't have dragged him off that pitch.
Well, yeah, but again, that would another incident came about from a poor decision by the referee and linesman. Now, don't get me wrong. We've had some bad referees this season, And barring 2 decisions, one was the handball against Leda, and this one, everything else I thought he was absolutely spot on. He did really well, which makes the 2 decisions so bizarre. But it got a foul on Antonio just over the halfway line, and it wasn't given. And he went down like a sack of spuds, straight onto his shoulder, and he carried that injury for the rest of the game. And after he scored, when all the players were celebrating, he collapsed in a heap on the floor and he had to go straight off. He just couldn't carry on. But he did look in a lot of pain.
I mean, again, obviously, these days you'd expect the fella to be straight off, and the way that the clubs look after the players these days, straight off for scans and X-rays and this, that, and the other. But no, he carried on and, of course, whumped that winning goal in. I think. Again, it's not something you see much easier. I think I remember Paul Warrest actually bleeding on the pitch while they were playing the Blunts. At the time, we had the old yellow shirts on, and the blood was spewing down onto his shirt. And he stayed there the whole game. Of course, it just wouldn't happen these days.
No.
Just wouldn't happen.
Fair play to him.
And of course, with it being against the Blunts, it just gives you that little bit of extra oomph, doesn't it? You're bleeding for the cause. So, obviously, again, back to Antonio, do we think we'll see him for the Brentford game? Do you think he'll be fit?
I think he will. I think a week's rest, and I think he'll be fine. Let's put it this way: we really need him. He can go missing for quite a while throughout games. The opposition tend to put a couple of players on him to try and negate him, but we really need him because he can pull a little piece of magic out like that.
Yeah, of course. And with the Reading, of course, they've got themselves promotion, gone up as champions, and Antonio had been tweeting things along the line as next season we, and all that kind of thing. Do you think there's a chance we might be able to keep it?
Ooh, we're in dreamland really, aren't we? Thinking about keeping him and keeping the likes of Danny back.
I'm sure that's something we'll be able to discuss towards the end of the season when...
We can only hope.
When all this, all the dust has settled and we've got this one out of the way.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Milan wants to throw his money about, or if, of course, I suppose it shall depend if we actually go up and get the promotion or not.
Yeah. Well, should we go up this season, then I think there's more likelihood of us getting both players, isn't there? Yeah,
it looks that way, Chet. But like I say, that's something we can discuss at the end of the season once the dust has settled. I'm sure we'll be into that, and we'll be finding out what's what. Just one more quick tweet that we've received, and that's a fellow that's been listening to the match in the Philippines, and he stayed up from after midnight to watch the what he's put is watch the pork fail at home. That's Gary Shaw over there in the Philippines that's got in touch with us over on Twitter. So we are officially, Beastie, an international podcast.
Excellent.
Fantastic. We've had the Patrick Jones, the chap from the New York Owls. He's been listening to us. He sent us a very nice tweet saying that he was laughing out loud on his way to work, and I'm sure that's not odd in New York. There's some very strange characters over there, quite happily talking and laughing to themselves. But yes, we are officially now a international podcast. Fantastic.
I always knew Wednesday travelled well.
The wonders of the internet. My word. Every city will be ours soon enough.
Excellent.